What is up? It's Phoenix or GL88 here, back with another video. Today's video is going to be another M17 related video on the channel. Today we are going to be talking about an interesting M17 from my collection, which I'm sure you've heard interesting M17 from my collection how many goddamn times now, but this is yet another interesting M17, I can promise you that, and if it isn't, I don't know why the hell you're watching this video then. But today we're going to be talking about an extra small M17A2. Now, you may be wondering, Phoenix, what the hell is an extra small M17A2? And well, an extra small M17A2 is exactly what it sounds like. Believe it or not, they actually made M17s an extra small size. Some of you may have believed they only made small through large, when that's actually not the case. And right around when they introduced the M17A2, they introduced an extra small size. So getting into this here, I'll go over the history of the extra small M17A2. So the extra small M17A2 was actually originally developed as a M17A1. You see, right around the late 70s, early 80s, they were working on developing another size for the M17, and they were working on an extra small size to adopt. And I can only assume that the main reason that the extra small size mask was being worked on was because the army around that time period had finally allowed women to enter as normal roles in the army. So that was probably part of the reason why they adopted the extra small M17A2, was so that it could accommodate more female soldiers, as I'm sure some female soldiers just couldn't fit a size small M17. So they needed a smaller size that would better fit female soldiers, and then also other special cases of soldiers that just would not fit a proper M17. But anyways, like I was saying, they ended up working on this mask and developing it. And I believe the original extra small M17A1 was adopted in, I believe, 1981. It was either 1981 or 1982. Of course, future me will correct that. But it was adopted right around then. Now, the interesting thing about the extra small M17A1, as far as I'm aware, it never fucking existed. Now, I'm sure you're asking yourself, GL88 or Phoenix, what the hell are you talking about? And what I mean by that is there has never been one that has ever been confirmed to exist. The national stock number exists, but I have never seen one example in the entirety of me ever collecting that actually existed. And in fact, the later editions of the technical manual don't even mention there being such thing as an extra small M17A1, which makes me think either none were made or it was such a small amount that it wasn't even considered a needing to be addressed in the technical manuals. But that's interesting, though, because the 1983 edition of the technical manual clearly states that there is an extra small M17A1, but the 1987 edition does not. So that's interesting. That very well could mean that there just never was extra small M17A1s produced, but the extra small size was originally introduced as an M17A1. But it was introduced so late that basically right around when it was introduced, they adopted the M17A2. So I can only assume that they probably just were never produced before they adopted the M17A2. They were already adopting the M17A2 when they introduced a extra small M17A1. So I bet you by the time they actually set up the factory lines to make these, they probably had already used up all the M17A1 parts, so they probably just immediately from the get-go started producing them as M17A2s. That's my guess anyways, but I don't know entirely for sure. There could be extra small M17A1s in existence, but as far as I'm aware, there are none that exist. But like I said, this was actually produced on any major scale as an M17A2, and that's what this is right here. When the extra small M17A2 first started being produced, it was actually produced in a slightly different face blank configuration than what is seen here. This is actually a late second pattern style extra small M17A2, which is the easy one to find. Now, of course, that's like saying, oh, extra small M17A2s are really easy to find. Not really. I mean, they're not rare. They're just a little bit of a pain in the ass to track down. And that's really just because this is a special use case size mask. They didn't mass produce these anywhere near the scale of the regular size M17s. This mask was actually produced on a small scale and issued only on special occasion. You needed a special exemption from a chemical corps officer to be issued one of these. If you did not fit a small M17 good enough, they would literally have to contact, I believe, was it Edgewood Arsenal? Or something of the sorts. I think it was Edgewood Arsenal. They would have to contact Edgewood Arsenal, and they would ship an extra small M17 to your battalion so that you could be issued it. Like, it was literally only special use case issue. These weren't like stocked in like normal facilities or anything, like ready for issue. They were actually stored at like Edgewood Arsenal and were only issued as a special exemption to soldiers that could not fit a normal sized M17. But like I said, there were two different face blank designs for this. There was an early style, which had a full interface seal, and there was the late style, like this one, that has 3/4 of an interface seal, which I'll show that off here in a little bit here, as you know, after I go over the kit components. But this mask was produced under those two variations from 1983, I believe, to 1986. Now, the 1983 through 1984 examples, the original design face blanks that would have the full interface seal, those are actually basically unobtainium. They virtually don't exist. I know they exist because I've seen like 2 examples ever for sale. Well, I think one was in like fucking South Korea like 5 years ago that I saw for sale on eBay, and the other one I can't even remember where I saw it. But they're like, I've literally only seen 2 ever for sale. They are just that fucking hard to find, and those would be the 1983 to like 1984 production ones. The easy ones to find are these later production ones from 1985 and 1986. But yeah, they were produced from, as far as more, 1983 to 1986, which of course 1986 was the pretty much basically the last year of production of the M17 series before they were the production started to be dismantled so that to make way for the M40 series protective masks. So this mask had about 3 years of production. But if you know anything about the M17 series, the M17A2 is unbelievably common, even though it was made for only a few years. They just made a metric shit ton of these over the short period of time that they were making them. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about here. So I will go over the kit components. So starting off here, got the M1 waterproofing bag, still in the original packaging, of course. Got the operator's manual, TM3424279-10, October 1987 edition. Of course, correction 1 from January 1990, the style that would be used throughout the 90s, as this was, as far as more, actually a Gulf War issue, extra small M17A2. The filters in the mask, anyways, had an install date of, I believe, like February 1991 or something of the sorts on them, so this is like a Desert Storm issue mask. But yeah, not much else to note about that. It's just a technical manual from the time period. And actually, before I put it down, you can see here that the national stock number for the extra small M17A1 is not printed on this manual, which on the 1983 edition it would be there, but on this one it isn't. So just showing that off here, just as like another piece of visual proof that quite possibly no extra small M17A1s were ever made. Got the M258A1 personal decontamination kit, of course. It's just a normal style decontamination kit from the time period. Nothing really special to note about it. Got the ABC M8 chemical detection paper. Of course, it's just the chemical detector paper that you dip in a chemical you find, and it changes color and tells you what the chemical would be in the vicinity based on the color that it changes to. Nothing much to note about it. Got the, of course, the ABC M6A2 chemical hood here. This is the late style from the 80s. It's got the leather draw cord, of course. Nothing really special to note about it. It's just a late production M6A2 hood. And going over the carrier here, this, of course, is a late style M15A1 carrier. No pocket on the bottom. It's the kind of like brown color these 80s ones were. You can see the U.S. logo, Mass Chemical Biological Field M17A2. You can see the pocket for the decontamination kit or your ABC M8 chemical detector paper. You can see the upper pocket right here for storing your straps or your atropine injections. You can, of course, like I said, since it's a late one, there's no pocket on the bottom for the waist strap. Just the back here, nothing much to note. Showing off the interior, nothing special in the interior. You can just see that there is a pocket on the inside there with snap fastener. You just use, that would be where you'd store your waterproofing bag or your M8 chemical detection paper based on whether if you want to store it in the carrier or on the outside pocket. And of course, that's where you'd also store your outserts if you weren't using them. I also, if I recall correctly, it's where you'd store the M4 winterizing kit if you ended up being issued that, was on this inside pocket. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that. So going over the face piece here, I'll show you what the differences are between an extra small and small M17A2. So as you can see here, you got the face piece here. You can see the extra small stamp on the forehead there, XS. You can see that from the outside, the mask seems pretty much like a normal M17A2. That is until you look at the nose cup and see that it is absolutely fucking huge compared to a normal M17. Just look at the side here, and holy shit, look at the size of that. But before I show off the interior, I will show off the date stamps on this example. The outlet valve cover is dated, let's see, January, February, March, April, first week of May in 1985 by Mine Safety Appliances Corporation. The face piece itself is dated, let's see, what do we got here? January, February, March, April. Looks like first week April 1985 by Mine Safety Appliances Corporation. You can see a lot number here. It's pretty much faded, but I'm pretty sure it says B1112. The interesting thing about M17A2s is that all of them have the lot number also stamped into the rubber, actually. On the temple strap right here, it'll actually have the lot number stamped there. So if the lot number wears away, you can still see your lot number on an M17A2 because it'll be right here. It says 11-12. Not much else to note on the outside. It's just a normal M17 otherwise, of course. Got the filter caps on there and the islands outserts. You can see the harness here. It's just the 80s style harness. Not really anything to note about it. So, folding the harness over the mask here, I will show you guys the interior and the differences between this and a regular small M17A2. So, oh shit, I got some packing paper in here. Take that out. So, showing you the interior here on this mask. You can see the inner face seal, which is what makes this an extra small M17A2. This is basically just a small M17 face blank, but they molded a inner face seal and a bigger chin cup into the mask. Like if you look at the bottom here, you can see the original face blank's chin area, but then you can see they molded an extra like smaller chin cup in the inside of the mask that would make it, you know, seal to a person's face better with like a narrower or smaller chin. You can see that, like I said, it's only a 3/4 inner face seal and that it stops right around the forehead area. The early production examples would have a full inner face seal, and the reason why they changed this was so that it would accommodate a wider range of people. They made both of them with full and 3/4 inner face seals. So if you didn't fit a full inner face seal that good, you could, like, it was too small, you would be issued a 3/4 inner face seal like this one. Or if this one was too big, you would be issued a full inner face seal one. But the majority of the ones made were 3/4 inner face seals, so I can only assume that the 3/4 inner face seal was probably more than enough for most people. Like I said, once again, you can see the chin cup here is massive, and it's actually so big that the nose cup does not fit over the chin area. You literally can't put the chin cup, or the nose cup's chin area over this because it's too big. It just sits underneath the chin area, which is like the only M17 that does that. But if you can see the interior, probably not that well, but on the nose cup, it has an X stamped on it. The X stands for extra small. Of course, otherwise, it's just a normal M17A2. It's just everything is much smaller, and the nose cup is a lot bigger to accommodate a smaller face. But yeah, that's pretty much that. So I'll show you a normal, actual size small M17A2 for comparison, just so you can see the differences here in more detail. As you can see, here is an small M17A2. You can see the small stamp right there. So I'll fold the harness over and I'll show you what the interior looks like in comparison, as it is actually a decent bit different. Alright, so here's the interior of a small M17A2. As you can see, there is no inner face seal. It's non-existent. The chin area is a lot smaller because it's, it's a bit bigger, I guess you would say. It just doesn't have all that extra molding there to accommodate a smaller chin. And then you can see that the chin rest for the nose cup fits over the chin area of the mask, or the chin rest. Of course, this one's a little bit deformed. It's not supposed to be deformed like that. It's just supposed to be flat, but it's a little fucked up on this example because the last idiot that was issued this mask had it folded underneath the chin area, so it deformed the nose cup. And then you can also see that the nose cup is a lot smaller because it's not extra huge for a small nose. And it also just says, well, actually, this one's a medium nose cup. Believe it or not, there is no such thing as a small nose cup on M17s. The size small M17 is just a size small face blank with a size medium nose cup. There is no small nose cup. The only small nose cup is the extra small nose cup on the extra small M17A2s. But yeah, that's pretty much it to note here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video on an extra small M17A2, as it's not, once again, it's not really something you see every day, and not very many collectors talk about these. So hopefully you guys learned something new, and that's pretty much all I want to talk about. So this has been Phoenix. Hope you all enjoyed the shit, and I'll see y'all later.